Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. Regular viewers will know by now I review many photographic, audio and video related products. Well, today we're taking a look at a rather interesting lens. It's a very compact lens and I've bought the lens to fit my Canon EOS M range of cameras, which is like the M50, the M5, the M6, the M3 and now the new M6 Mark II, which I've got on order, so I'm really excited about trying that one out when it comes. And I've at the moment got it fitted to my Canon EOS M50. I rather like this little camera. It is, you know, very, very compact. It's a great little APS-C camera, 24 megapixel, blah, 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 tilted multi-screen. And what it is the 7 Artisans, 7.5, 7 Artisans, yeah. Oh dear. 7 Artisans 7.5mm fisheye lens for APS-C cameras. Now they do make it for the Canon, let me just check this, Canon EFM, which is obviously what I've got it fitted to, the Fujifilm X range, Micro Four Thirds and the Sony E-mount. And I've got it fitted, as I said, to my Canon EOS M50. And there's the M50 and that's the lens. Now, the lens is very, very cheap. I mean, it's manual focus, and I'm not really into manual focus lenses. And the reason why I'm not is because my eyes are shot to pieces. I can't even find where the dot is. Have they put a dot on here to mount it? Yeah, a little red dot. And yeah, I'm not into manual focus lenses purely because of my eyes, and I do like autofocus. I've become, I wouldn't say lazy, but I've got so used to autofocus. But I bought it because it's fisheye. You don't have to worry about focusing too much. As long as you've got it set to pretty much infinity, infinity on the focus scale, or, you know, close to infinity, then everything is going to be tag sharp because of the, because of the nature of the lens. Wide angle lenses are sharp anyway, particularly if you close the aperture down. I've found its sweet spot, as it is on so many lenses, around sort of f8. So I've been shooting sort of between 5.6 to f11 and it works absolutely beautiful. I'm absolutely really impressed with how good the image quality is from this lens. It's a cheap lens. Here in the UK, as of September of 2019, I paid 125 quid. I got it through Amazon. I put my Amazon link in the description below. Now, it is really compact. You can see, even mounted to my Canon M50, how small this lens is. It's actually very nicely made. For a really cheap lens, it's very nicely made. I believe it's probably Chinese. I don't know. I could check the box actually, but it will say on it. But that's how small the lens is. Really compact, a built-in lens hood. The lens hood, I think, is more to protect the front element of a lens, because if you see there, you can't actually put a filter on it because of the bulgeousness of the lens. And they call it a fisheye lens. And that's curious, because I didn't want to get a fisheye lens which had so much vignetti. You've seen the effects of fisheye lenses, just one big circle. This actually does fill the frame. The photographs that come off this do fill the frame. You do get the bending and barrel distortion you would from a fisheye lens, but I like that effect. And if you're very careful with, you know, planning your photographs, it's not really an issue. It looks a great effect. I really, really like it. And the sharpness that comes off this lens is pretty good for a lens of this price. You can certainly get away with it. I'm quite happy with it. You know, I'm not a professional photographer. I used to be. I retired from that game. So I take photographs for fun now, and obviously for demonstrating my kit, YouTube channel and what have you. But I'm still looking for nice sharp lenses. So I do, you know, take a real interest in how good the lens is and how sharp the lens is. But that's a pretty good lens. I'm really pleased with this lens. It's got a nice focus ring. And I really like that, because obviously being a manual focus lens, you need a ring that is nice to focus. And it's really nice, that is. It's really smooth. Again, really nicely made. But I tend not to bother focusing very much with it. I leave it pretty much set to infinity and job's done. And it has got, again, a nice aperture ring. The only thing I would say about the aperture ring, which isn't really a negative in the strictest sense of a word. It's so close to the camera body, it's a bit awkward sometimes to get your fingers around there to adjust it. And it isn't clickable, which is nice if you're doing video, because you don't want to hear the clicks. Although, I always find it odd when people say that, because you'd use a radio mic or you'd use, you know, some other form of sound. You wouldn't normally use a microphone on the camera, would you? I don't know. And also, you wouldn't use this type of lens for video. I can't imagine you filming an interview with a fisheye lens, but there you go. You might do for effect. But yeah, a really, you know, nice smooth aperture ring, not clickable, but it doesn't matter. Nice thing on the M50 and on the M3 that I've got there, the little exposure guide goes up and down, so it tells you what's correctly exposed and what isn't, just by turning the aperture ring, and that's quite nifty. I guess other cameras do the same thing. Can't remember if Sony's do. But as long as you've got the dial set to M for manual, you're well away. And you do need to set that to manual because it does weird things with the exposure if you don't. So set that to manual. And the other thing with the Canon EOS M range, when they come out of the box, when you buy it, it's disabled. The function is disabled to be able to use a manual focus lens. You have to enable that, and that was right palaver. I ended up YouTubing it actually. Somebody on YouTube had done a video on where to find it, so I shall show you now. Obviously turn the camera on. Now this works on both the M3 and the M50, so I suspect the menu will be the same on all the M bodies. So what you need to do, you need to go into the menu. Obviously you need to go into the menu, go into your spanner, as you can see there. So you go into your spanner, then you go into, go across to, well, on the M50 it's number 5. You go into custom function. So you go into your custom function and it says release shutter without lens. Release shutter without lens. It says W/O lens, so without lens. And it was on disable. You need to enable that. So you need to put it into enable, and then you can go out the menu then. And then lo and behold, you will be able to use a manual focus lens on the M50. Like so. And the reason why they've disabled it, and it's quite a good reason actually, so you don't accidentally leave a lens off and try, it could damage the shutter and damage the sensor if you've left the lens off and you're trying to, you know, take photographs without the lens on. So they've disabled it so you can't do that. And that's quite good. The images that come off this lens are actually very, very pleasing. And actually for a 125 quid lens, you know, you're not going to go wrong. If you look at a few test shots that I've done here, I've got them loaded up. You can see the sharpness and the clarity, the contrast. I mean, that's very sharp. That's, you know, nothing wrong with that at all. You have to, obviously because of manual exposure, you do have to get your exposure right. You can see here the sky's a bit blown out. But again, in Photoshop, Lightroom, Luminar 3 and what have you, you can bring that back down, bring the highlights down. But look at the detail. It is very difficult to get bokeh from a body. See that? Now here we go. There's a classic example of the bending. That is a real true fisheye effect. So, you know, don't get poles or verticals in your photograph because they will bend. But again, the detail and the sharpness, very pleasing. You know, again, the bending of the verticals isn't so noticeable on that image because of the way I've taken it. Quite like that image. You know, again, I can bring the highlights down. These are straight out of the camera. I've not edited any of these. But again, the sharpness, more than pleasing. You know, that would print very nicely. And that would. You know, again, they're quite creamy. You know, not bad at all. Little Sammy. Even shooting into light, getting a bit of flare in, but what do you expect from a lens that's only 125 quid, you know? So, and you can get bokeh if you really want to. It's a hell of a job to get it, but that flower, trust me, that flower was about, you know, that far away from a lens. You know, I had to get really, really close to the subject to get any background out of focus, and it isn't creamy bokeh. As you can see, it's not very nice bokeh, but you can do it if you really wanted to. But this sort of lens lends itself to more general sort of architecture, not wildlife architecture, landscapes and that kind of malarkey, you know. So yeah, great lens. It's a great fun lens, and because it's so compact, that can go in your camera bag without too much trouble. It's actually, you know, nicely made lens. It's made of metal, I think. It's pretty heavy for a tiny lens. It's quite heavy, and it's not made out of plastic, that's for sure. Quite a nicely made lens. The weight of it, yeah, 275 grams. 275 grams. That's quite hefty for a lens that's so tiny. But it feels nice. It feels nice on the camera, particularly on the M50, because the M50's got quite a nice little grip. I suspect, well, I have tried it on the M3 and I'm very happy with it on the M3, because the M3 again has got quite a nice grip. So both cameras it works absolutely fine on. So yeah, can I recommend the 7 Artisan 7.5? I certainly can if you're into extreme wides, a little bit of a fisheye effect, you know, and you're happy with manually focusing it. As I said, I wasn't, but I am, if that makes sense, you know. I wasn't because I don't do manual focus, as I said earlier, but the fact that you don't really need to focus it, just point and shoot. In fact, it's like a GoPro, but it's a bit bleeding expensive to be a GoPro, isn't it? And it hasn't got the, it's not as rugged as what a GoPro would be, so maybe it's not like a GoPro, but the effect is a bit of a GoPro looking effect, isn't it? Again, you know, nice and sharp though. Yeah. Yeah, nice lens. Yeah, I'm happy with it. So here we go. That's my sort of initial thoughts on the 7 Artisan 7.5 manual focus lens I've bought for my Canon EOS M. And I will be trying it out on my new M6 Mark II when it arrives. Really excited about getting that, as I said earlier as well. So there we go. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this review useful. And if you do like my channel, please subscribe. It helps me a lot. And if you like this video, please hit the like button and tell all your friends. Really appreciate that. There are links below to where you can buy this lens from. I got it from Amazon, so there's an Amazon link below. So thanks for watching. See you again next time. Bye for now.